My name is Marie Agioritis. I'm from Saskatoon. We lost a son at 19 years old quite tragically a few years ago. It was, I guess you call it like the car crash of our lives. You can't be prepared for when that happens, and I think that's the worst thing you'll ever have to potentially deal with. It attacks your soul, and you never get over the loss of a child. You get through it, and I kin it to lifting weights, that when you start lifting those heavy weights, they're impossible to lift. And then with effort and time and strength, you eventually learn to lift them. The weight doesn't change. It's always the same weight. And there's going to be times when taking a break from it or it catches you off guard, that weight slips back into a place of injury potentially. But you eventually learn to carry the weight of the loss. You know, if I think about the things that I've learned, one is you have to walk through the fire. There's no way around it. Nobody can talk you out of it. It's great to find a good support, which I did, good professional support. But you have to walk through it. It's the only way. The other part was I found my people. You have to find your people. Nobody could understand what it was like to lose a child tragically unless they've honestly really felt it, because nothing compares to it. And I did find my people, and we still connect, and I talked to one of them this morning, and I provide extra support to somebody else to try to be their person when they need it. It doesn't matter how someone dies, how a child dies. As a parent, you can't accept it. It just doesn't matter. They're still your babies. One of the fears that I had too when we lost our son was that I would start to forget the memories. That I would forget the sound of his voice, his laughter. But I'm happy to say you don't. If he walked through my front door today, it's 7 years, and said, "Hey mama, what you doing?" It wouldn't feel any different than it would if he'd walked through my door 7 years ago. I need to be grateful for the gift of grief. Most mothers who lose children aren't given, aren't allowed. I laid in bed for 3 months and cried. I had somebody bringing me food, somebody forcing me into a shower to clean up, somebody changing my bed, friends dropping in. Most mothers in the world don't get that. Most of them are waking up the next day trying to figure out how to feed their families. The gift of being able to sit in my grief, be present in the passing of my son, and swim in it and wallow in it and cry and decide what I was going to do with it. Nobody gets a buy from it. You just hope that you're not having to be the one to have to deal with it when your kid's only 19 or 10 or 7. Mine was 19, he just turned 19. But I can tell you, you do get through it. You don't get over it. You get through it. And you can become somebody who can give hope to someone else who doesn't think they can live the rest of their lives without that person. I can tell you what really helped me through all of this insanity called grief. Was finding someone I could talk to, finding a resource. I found somebody who was trained in counseling people who've gone through grief. What my people and I did, my friends and colleagues who have similar experiences to what our grief was, we put together, with the help of the Canadian Mental Health Association, we put together a grief support group and brought in family members who'd lost their loved ones in a similar fashion, supported by the Canadian Mental Health Association, to provide some comfort and some fellowship. And in fact, when we went to them and said, "Hey, we need a place, we need resources, we need help," they didn't hesitate for a second. Find the other people with your similar experiences. They know what's out there and they can guide you that way. That's what they did for us. And in fact, we still do it. We still reach out to people who have lost kids, and we meet through the organization and at the organization to provide some some solace, we hope, to grieving parents.